Alright guys, my second attempt at doing this video. It's a contest entry for JC at Flipside Vinyl. JC, a wonderful part of the VC community, the vinyl community. He has reached 3,000 subs, so congratulations JC. And he's just having a contest, just a gratitude contest to, thank everybody. The guy's got a wonderful channel. It'd be hard for me to believe if you're watching this channel where you don't know who he is, but if you don't, go check out JC at the flip side. He's up there in Boston, where, but he wants us to do four simple things. Throw a shout out, show an album from the 70s, one from the 80s, and one from the 90s. And I still got all the names in this lunchbox from the contest that I had. And I don't know who to give the shout out to, so I'm just going to reach in here and grab a name or two or three, and these will be my shout outs. And this is how it's going to go. Sam St. John, great channel, let's throw him a shout out. Movies and Grooves, that's Norman, cool guy, dude. And Ron Haggerty, those are going to be my one more shout out, because this is just so much fun drawing names. And another shout out, Mr. Hall of Fame. So those are my shout outs. Now let's do 3 albums, one from the 70s, one from the 80s, and one from the 90s. From the 70s, I picked Gil Scott-Heron. It was a badass album. Gil Scott-Heron. From South Africa to South Carolina. We all probably know about this man. One of the big songs in this one was Johannesburg. Very political, very outspoken about apartheid in South Africa, about the civil rights movement here in the United States. Gil Scott-Heron. One of his most famous songs was Whitey on the Moon. But this is Gil Scott-Heron from South Africa to South Carolina. Really cool cover. Very, very good album. Next is the 80s. I'm going to go with something that's out of my, as they say, wheel well. Not a big hair metal guy. You probably know that about me. But this band, Whitesnake. And I was talking to, or texting, or commenting on, it was either Gary at Physical Format Rock and Roll, or, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him, about this album. This is Whitesnake as a radio promo, and this is called Ready and Willing, and it has a version of Fool for Your Lovin'. And I remember this coming out in 1980, and it sounded like Led Zeppelin, a Led Zeppelin ripoff almost, with the guitar riffs and the vocals, and they kind of went away, and you never heard from them again until like in the mid to late 80s. They reformed themselves. They got freaking 80s style haircuts, but this album is fantastic. I'm not knocking the rest of their albums. You may be a fan of them. I'm not. But that's okay. We could still be friends. But this is a great blues rock album from 1980. And last but not least, we're going to go to the 90s. I'm going to show this band, the Texas Tornadoes. Is a fantastic CD. Texas Tornadoes. It was Augie Myers. It was Doug Sahm, Freddie Fender, and Flaco Jimenez. And I had the pleasure of meeting everyone in this band except for Freddie Fender. But these guys, Tex-Mex music, and it came with a gringo dictionary, a gringo lingo, to teach the white boys, I guess, some Mexican slang. Some of it wasn't slang, like cerveza, letting us know that's a kiss, or, it's just kind of funny the way they wrote it down so you know what they're singing about. These guys mix Tejano music with a Texas-style swing, the Texas-style country, and they did it well. They had a big hit radio. I don't know if it was national or what, but with Who Are You Thinking Of? where he talks about who were you thinking of last night when we were making love last night. A lot of this is in Spanish, but that's okay. Texas Tornadoes. Sadly, I think all have passed except maybe Flacco. I know Doug Sahm passed away a few years ago. And I'll tell you a funny story about Doug Sahm from the Texas Tornadoes. About 95 or 96, they came out with a new CD. Okay, and I'm in radio, I'm in the control booth, and the receptionist came in, and she's like, there's some guy here, he said his name is Doug, and she looked at the paper, she wrote it on, Sahm. I'm like, whatever. So I walked out there, and it was flipping Doug Sahm with this beautiful young girl, maybe like 27, 28 years old, like drop-dead gorgeous woman. And Doug saw me talk like this, and I'm not disrespecting him. He just always had like a sound like he needed to clear his throat. I'm like, Doug Sahm, it's a pleasure to meet you. And he handed me a CD. There was no writing on it except for handwritten Texas Tornadoes in magic marker, and it was wrapped in a flipping paper towel. He said, hey man, we came up here to get some enchiladas, and he said the name of the restaurant. And we're listening to you, and I know you guys because he had been friends with our program director, and he had been at the station before, but I'd never met him. It's before I was their music director. Long story short, he hands me this flipping CD. It was their new CD. I said, can I interview you? He's like, yeah. You know, he loved it. We went in there. He had none of the songs written down. He was just telling me by memory what track was what track, and I'm trying to keep notes on it. Here I am playing the new Texas Tornadoes album, first person to play it on the radio, and it was a blast. We had a lot of fun. I kept the CD, and he wrote notes for us to remember. 2 weeks later, we get a phone call. Every Tuesday, you're supposed to do your ads, as in adding new music to the playlist, and that's how they chart music. Well, I get a call from a music rep, and I knew the lady. She goes, hey, I just mailed out today the Texas Tornadoes. I said, yeah, we're already playing it. She goes, you can't be already playing it. You don't understand. I just mailed it today. You should have it in 2 days. I said, I'm already on it. How could that be? I said, Doug Sahm came up here and gave me a copy personally. We interviewed him, and we've been playing every track on it. We've been playing the hell out of the album. And she goes, oh my God, you can't do that. I'm like, he gave me permission. Because technically you're not supposed to play it before the certain date. Like they want all stations to say March 19th. March 19th is the day we want to start playing it. You report it on the 20th or whatever. Long story short, I'm like, I'm sorry. And she called back the next day, well, can you stop playing it? And man, no, we're not. And Doug Sahm didn't care. The Texas Tornadoes didn't care. And if they didn't care, I didn't care. We're playing it. That's just the way it is. It didn't hurt them in any way. In fact, it was cool for us being the station they got to break it. Anyway, that's my Texas Tornadoes story. I love going down memory lane when I think about my days in radio. Guys, I love the VC. People like JC, the Flipside, Gary at Physical Format Rock and Roll. There are just so many cool people out there that I just enjoy communicating with and watching their videos. Jeff Winchester's another guy. Randy Weaver, Randy Nelson. Cheers to everybody in the VC. Hope you're having a great one, whatever it is you're doing. Peace.